Welcome, and thank you for joining us for our session, Developing Technology-Based Training Programs. My name is Alex Brock, and I'm a Technical Assistance Liaison for the Disability Innovation Fund, or DIF, 84.421F grantees. I'm also joined by Rachel Hatfield, another one of our Technical Assistance Liaisons.
Hi, everyone. We're thrilled to be here with you today. In this session, we're going to walk through a framework for designing effective, accessible, technology-based training programs to support individuals with disabilities.
Slide 2, Learning Objectives. Our goal today is to leave you with a practical understanding of how to create training programs that are not only technology-driven, but also accessible. By the end of this webinar, you will be able to understand the core elements of effective technology-based training, identify key considerations for accessibility, explore successful training examples and tools, and start planning your own training initiative. Slide 3. Why technology-based training? So, why are more organizations turning to digital training? It's more than just convenience. It's about building programs that are smart, can reach more people, and are easier to scale. Let's discuss 4 key reasons why going digital makes sense. Scalability. Digital platforms allow you to reach larger audiences without a proportional increase in cost or effort. Whether you're training 20 people or 2,000, the same course can be delivered broadly across locations and time zones. This is especially valuable in workforce development, where training needs to be delivered quickly and consistently across regions or partner organizations. Accessibility. Well-designed digital training can increase access for people with disabilities, those in rural or underserved areas, and learners using assistive technology or AT. AT is an item, equipment, software, or system that enhances functional capabilities of individuals with disabilities. Flexibility. Digital learning meets participants where they are. Whether someone is balancing work, family, or other commitments, self-paced or mobile-friendly formats make it possible to learn anytime, anywhere. This flexibility can lead to higher completion rates and greater satisfaction. Data-driven personalization. Digital training lets you see how people are doing as they go through the course. You can track what they understand, where they get stuck, and how fast they move. This helps you make the training better over time and adjust it to meet people's needs. It also gives you real numbers to show what's working, which is helpful when you need to report results or justify funding.
Simply put, technology-based training allows us to reach more learners, adapt to their needs, and provide just-in-time support. Whether it's micro-learning, self-paced courses, or simulations, these formats make training more accessible and adaptable, especially for individuals with disabilities. This is particularly impactful for learners with disabilities who may benefit from asynchronous learning, screen reader compatibility, or visual aids.
How scalable and accessible are they right now? What barriers might technology help you overcome? Pause this video and take a moment to think about your own training program.
Slide 4, Aligning Goals with Learner Needs. Now that you've had a few moments to reflect on your offline, non-digital training programs, let's discuss the elements of designing with intent. The first step in developing successful programs is defining your training goals. Are you building job skills, increasing digital literacy, supporting transition to employment. Understanding your outcomes is a critical step to ensure a strong foundation. Make sure your outcomes are aligned with the workforce needs of your target areas.
After you have a clear understanding of the outcomes, identify your learners. Are they entry-level workers? Transition-aged youth? Who are they and where are they starting from? Do they have reliable access to technology? What accommodations do they need, such as screen readers, captions, or the ability to pause a training? Understanding these details helps you design training that truly meets their needs and removes any barriers they might face. Consider one learner group you serve. What specific access needs or accommodations might they require? Pause the video while you think about that. Slide 5. Conducting needs assessments. Before choosing a platform or building content, ask yourself, what individual outcomes are you driving toward, and who are you designing for? This helps ensure the training serves a real purpose and connects directly to what learners need to succeed in their jobs or careers. Additionally, are there barriers you need to address? This could include anything from limited internet access to low digital literacy, or even language or accessibility needs. Using surveys, interviews, or focus groups, you can obtain an understanding of your learners' technology access, preferred learning styles, and potential barriers. These tools also give learners a voice in the process, which can build trust and lead to higher engagement down the line. You might uncover a need for visual aids or mobile-friendly content, or needs in other areas you didn't expect. Having a clear understanding of the target audience's needs will help ensure your training is relevant, realistic, and responsive. Essentially, it lets you build a program that feels personalized and practical from the start.
This is a great opportunity to think about your current resources. If you don't have a needs assessment in place, take a moment to draft 2 or 3 questions you could ask your learners to better understand their needs. Let's pause for a moment to self-reflect. Slide 6, adapting to learning styles. Once you understand your learners' needs and barriers, you can start thinking about how they learn best. There are 3 main types of learning styles to consider: visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. Visual learners absorb information best by seeing it. That could be through videos, diagrams, infographics, or clear visual layouts on the screen. Including these types of materials can help them process and retain key concepts. Auditory learners learn by listening. They benefit from things like voiceover narration, audio clips, or podcasts. Having the option to hear rather than read content can make a big difference for them. Kinesthetic learners need to interact with the material. They learn best by doing. Activities like drag and drop exercises, simulations, or short quizzes can help reinforce what they're learning and allow them to apply it in a hands-on way. It is critical to keep in mind that everyone learns differently. To reach the most learners possible, consider providing content in multiple styles, including audio, video, and text. It's important to also include activities to reinforce learning and further develop skills that will be required to enter the workforce. This approach doesn't just help different types of learners feel included, it helps them retain information and supports real-world skills development.
Great points, Rachel. Think about a piece of content you've developed or delivered. How could you adapt it to better support visual, auditory, and kinesthetic learners? Go ahead and pause the video while you take a moment to self-reflect. Slide 7, choosing the right format. The next critical component of developing the program is selecting the formats the training will be provided through. Choose the right format or multiple formats to ensure the content is accessible, engaging, and effective for your learners. If your learners need flexibility, asynchronous modules might be best. This allows participants to access the training at their own pace, anytime, anywhere. If your learners need flexibility, this might be the best option. Perhaps they're working full-time, have caregiving responsibilities, or live in rural areas and have to travel to access the internet. Asynchronous modules allow them to learn on their own schedule and revisit materials as needed. Research shows that asynchronous e-learning can increase retention by up to 60% compared to traditional methods, particularly when learners are given time to reflect and practice. On the other hand, synchronous training involves live, real-time interactions like webinars or virtual classrooms. It's a great choice when discussion and interactions are critical. For example, if you're working on conducting mock interviews, synchronous training helps create an immediate feedback that the learner can put into practice right away.
Now, let's talk about structure. One of the first decisions is whether to build a full course from start to finish or break it into smaller, more digestible parts, or what is known as modular training. Modular training design is great for programs where certifications will be achieved along the way or more than one skill set will be developed. It allows learners to complete one section at a time and earn achievements. It also makes it easier to update and maintain individual sections instead of redoing an entire course. Microlearning is another trend in modern training. This refers to short 5 to 10 minute long focused lessons that target skill-specific concepts. It allows someone to master one skill before moving to the next. It also works especially well when learners need quick refreshers. According to the Journal of Applied Psychology, microlearning can improve knowledge retention by more than 20% compared to traditional formats. This might seem like a lot to consider. In reality, many strong programs use a blend of these approaches. For instance, a program might start with a live kickoff session, synchronous, then move into a self-paced modules, asynchronous, and include short micro-learning bursts to reinforce critical skills. The key is to match the format to the learning goals, audience needs, and available resources.
Let's take a moment to reflect again. Does your program lean heavily on one format? What could you add or change to better match your learners' needs? Slide 8, Overview of Digital Platforms. Now let's talk about platforms. The platform you choose should be intuitive, accessible, and easy to scale. Learning Management System, or LMS platforms, work well for structured courses, and there's a variety available. Moodle or Canvas are common LMS platforms. Mobile-first tools help reach learners without computers. This can also be key for access in rural areas where internet service is not easily accessed, but cell service is available. Many LMS platforms also offer mobile-friendly access to meet the needs of these learners. You should also consider whether to make your training shareable, content, object reference model, or SCORM compliant. SCORM compliance ensures a course is packaged according to a standard that can be seamlessly integrated and tracked with any SCORM-supported LMS. This standardizes how e-learning content is packaged, delivered, and tracked, making it reusable across different platforms.
Slide 9, Tool Selection Criteria. Selecting a platform may seem daunting. It's important to review multiple platforms to evaluate which option will best meet your learner's needs and accommodate your program structure. Look for tools that let you track progress, offer accessibility features, and integrate with your existing systems if applicable. Coordinating with your organization's IT department is critical when selecting a platform. Successful partnership will ensure the platform can be integrated into existing systems, meet established standards, and maintain relevant compliances. Your IT department is a valuable partner when it's time to build your training on the platform. It's also important to make sure your platform meets your organization's security and privacy standards. This includes things like secure user logins, data encryption, and protecting participant information, especially if you're collecting assessment data or personal details. Your IT can help review platform policies, ensure compliance with any relevant regulations, and support integration with systems you already use. Addressing this upfront helps avoid technology headaches down the line and ensures your learners' information stays safe. Also, remember, expensive isn't always better. Make sure you compare support features, accessibility, and feasibility across platforms. Additionally, gather information from each provider to clearly understand associated costs, which may include per user licensing, group pricing, and base versus upgrade features.
Slide 10, Low cost and open source or free tools. There are a variety of tools on the market, many of which can be combined in part or whole to facilitate learning delivery. H5P lets you create interactive videos and quizzes. EdApp offers mobile-first delivery. Don't overlook Google Forms, which is simple but effective for knowledge checks. There are also many platforms that offer free trials, such as Articulate Rise, so your team can use those to experiment with the interface to ensure it aligns with your goals, needs, and outcomes. Slide 11, Designing for Engagement. When it comes to digital learning, keeping someone's attention is half the battle. Chunk your content into small, digestible segments. This approach helps reduce cognitive overload and allows learners to build confidence by mastering skills along the way. Breaking content into smaller parts also makes it easier for learners to fit training into busy schedules and revisit specific topics as needed. Consider using real scenarios in your training that reflect workplace challenges. These case-based examples help learners connect theory to practice, and they make the training feel more relevant. By seeing how skills apply in real situations, learners are more likely to stay engaged and retain the information. Plus, scenarios encourage critical thinking and problem-solving skills that are essential for the workforce.
Gamify when you can through badges, scores, or progress bars to make learning more motivating. Gamification taps into natural human desires for achievement and competition, which can boost motivation and completion rates. Also, consider the feasibility of virtual reality experiences. These allow users to immerse themselves in the content and get a more hands-on experience. Immersive technologies like virtual reality provide a safe space to practice skills and build confidence, which is especially valuable for complex or high-risk tasks. Additionally, incorporating multimedia elements such as videos, animations, and interactive quizzes helps keep the content fresh and caters to different learning preferences. Remember, varied content delivery keeps learners curious and reduces boredom.
What are some real-world challenges your learners face? How could you integrate these scenarios into your training? Go ahead and pause the video while you take a moment for self-reflection. Slide 12, accessibility. Don't think of accessibility as an afterthought. It's foundational and it benefits everyone. When accessibility is built in from the start, it improves the overall user experience, increases engagement, and ensures that no participant is left behind. Universal design must be at the forefront in developing a successful technology-based training program. This means thinking about every user's needs from the very beginning rather than trying to fix problems later. When selecting a platform and designing the content, ensure that you follow WCAG or Web Content Accessibility Guidelines and to any other established standards that are applicable in your state, organization, or grant. WCAG are internationally recognized guidelines that help make digital content accessible to people with a wide range of abilities and disabilities. Following WCAG also supports compliance with Section 508 requirements for digital accessibility. Use plain language. Clear communication helps all learners, including those with varying literacy levels. If your users are predominantly in a rural area or an area where internet access is limited, consider designing for low bandwidth. Consider offering downloadable resources and optimizing content so it loads quickly and works smoothly even with slow internet connections. And ensure your content reflects the population of your audience. Incorporate relevant examples, imagery, and scenarios. Slide 13, evaluation. Creating a training program is just the beginning. Evaluation tells you how well it's working and helps you adapt over time. Start by making sure your learning goals connect to real-world outcomes. What do you want participants to know or do after completing the training? Track learner progress using quizzes, completion rates, feedback forms, and other analytics built into your training platform. Pre- and post assessments and learner self-ratings can also provide insights. Don't just collect the data, use it. Build in time after each cycle to review outcomes. Look at what worked and tweak your content. This is what makes a good training great over time.
Slide 14, make it last. Sustainability is key for the long-term success of your program. Technology and the workforce are always changing, and the content needs to be adapted to stay relevant. When using a modular design, you can update or reuse individual pieces without overhauling everything. Updates to pieces are made much easier.
It's important to schedule regular reviews with stakeholders to keep your content current. This may include instructional staff and your organization's IT team, but don't forget to incorporate the continuous feedback you receive from your learners. Post-training assessments and quick check-ins with your learners are great ways to obtain regular feedback. Additionally, consider creating a user advisory group comprising of learners and other stakeholders to gather information. Setting up a quarterly check-in meeting with these key players is a great way to hear directly from them. Slide 15, collaborative success. Some of the most successful projects include people with disabilities in the design process. Their insights make your training stronger. By involving them early, you can identify barriers and opportunities that might not be obvious from a purely technical or administrative perspective. This leads to solutions that truly meet your learners' needs. Incorporate beta testing into your program's development plan and obtain valuable feedback from real-world users. During beta testing, create structured opportunities for learners to provide specific feedback on usability, accessibility, and content relevance. Consider using surveys, interviews, or focus groups to gather detailed insights. Feedback is gold. Establish transparent, ongoing feedback loops where learners and stakeholders know their input matters and see how it leads to changes. Share updates regularly to build trust and encourage continued participation. Use it to adapt, improve, and evolve your training program.
Slide 16, resources to get started. Whether you're a beginner or experienced, these frameworks and tools can guide your process and ensure quality. The ADDIE, or Analyze, Design, Develop, Implement, and Evaluate model, is a step-by-step instructional design framework. It helps you carefully plan and build your training from start to finish. Whereas SAM, or Successive Approximation Model, is a flexible, iterative approach that encourages rapid prototyping and frequent feedback to quickly improve your content. Both models help you keep your development organized and learner focused. WCAG 2.1 Checklist. This checklist breaks down accessibility standards into practical steps, making sure your digital content is usable for people with disabilities. It guides you in creating perceivable, operable, understandable, and robust content, which benefits all learners. Free authoring tools. Tools like H5P, Canva, and Google Slides let you create interactive, engaging training content without needing expensive software or coding skills. They offer templates, drag and drop features, and easy media integration to help bring your modules to life. Sample content templates. Using pre-designed templates can save you time and provide a professional structure. These templates often include suggested layouts, placeholders for text and multimedia, and examples of best practices to ensure your audience effectively. Use content maps and templates to outline your modules before you build them.
Slide 17, key takeaways. Technology-based training is powerful, but only when it meets the real needs of your audience. Remember to build the foundation by identifying the needs and barriers of your audience. Keep universal design and accessibility at the forefront when selecting platforms, designing content, and implementing your program. Compare a wide range of tools to ensure you find the one that best meets your needs.
Start small, test often, and keep improving. Your impact grows with each iteration. Allow continuous feedback loops that will allow you to adapt and refine.
Slide 18, a DIF grantee experience. Let's hear how one of your fellow DIF projects developed their training program. Today we are joined by Dr. Tammy Smith from the University of South Florida from the Delivering Innovative Vocational Education Through Virtual Reality Technology, or DIVE VRT DIF project. Welcome, Dr. Smith. We're excited to discuss your technology-based training program today and some of the key considerations that went into the development. Can you tell us a little bit more about what inspired your team to build the program and who you're aiming to support?
The DIVE VRT project leverages virtual reality and artificial intelligence technologies to train and certify youth and adults with lifelong and acquired disabilities and skilled trades. The primary aims of the DIVE VRT project include developing, implementing, refining, evaluating, and disseminating an innovative state-of-the-art model curriculum designed to facilitate timely, competitive, integrated employment outcomes and high-demand careers for transition-age youth and adults with lifelong or acquired disabilities.
As you designed the program, how did you align the design with the employment goals of individuals with disabilities? And what were some of the accessibility strategies that were prioritized at the very start of the project?
Although the current DIVE VRT program targets skilled trades, it's essential to align career opportunities with individual interests, skills, talents, and aptitudes to promote employment retention and to meet the needs of each unique job seeker. Therefore, the DIVE VRT curriculum has 4 core components that are generalized to a variety of careers in various fields. Whenever possible, we are incorporating principles of universal design to meet the needs of everyone. In terms of technology, team experts are researching and integrating accessibility features to ensure full access. Our classrooms will be fully accessible, and program participants will be given opportunities to request accommodations and specific needs for accessibility.
Expanding on the program design, how did you engage learners or stakeholders in the development process?
We have a project advisory committee with representation from all of the stakeholder groups. We also have individuals with a variety of disabilities that test equipment, forms, and other program materials to provide feedback prior to launching them.
That's a great feedback loop. What are some of the technology tools that you incorporated into the program?
Technology is advancing so quickly. We can see leaps in functionality in short periods of time. We have the latest version of virtual reality headsets, and we are able to do so much to enhance learning and technical assistance with artificial intelligence, or AI. AI can detect frustration among users and direct them to human assistance via a ticket system. Our graduate assistants monitor tickets, emails, and phone calls, and then triage them to appropriate experts for addressing concerns.
Those are awesome examples of integrating AI into supporting the program. What are some ways you're tracking or measuring learner outcomes and incorporating continuous improvement?
We are using pre and post assessments and interviews or questionnaires with instructors, participants, and employers. Ongoing data collection from project stakeholders and guidance from the Project Advisory Committee provide an iterative process for identifying strengths and weaknesses and implementing recommended improvements.
Do you have any advice for others interested in building tech-based trainings?
Engage multiple experts to work together to develop, test, and refine the training. Get stakeholder feedback throughout the development and implementation process.
Thank you for joining us today, Dr. Smith. We enjoyed hearing more about your program and the effort that went into its development. To learn more about the DIVE VRT program, visit their project website at dive-vrt.org. Slide 19, Call to Action. Are you ready to consider implementing a technology-based training program? Pick one next step today. Maybe it's drafting a needs assessment or exploring an LMS. You may already have something in the works that you're ready to pilot. Slide 20, Contact Info. If you have any questions about anything covered today, or you're ready to start building a technology-based training program, please reach out. You can contact us at diffta@neweditions.net or reach out to your assigned technical assistance liaison. Whether you're looking for ideas, tools, or help making a connection, we're here to support you.
Disclaimer. The contents of this presentation were developed under contract 91990023 D0037 91990024 F0395 from the U.S. Department of Education Department. The department does not mandate or prescribe practices, models, or other activities described or discussed in this presentation. The contents of this presentation may contain examples of, adaptations of, and links to resources created and maintained by another public or private organization. The department does not control or guarantee the accuracy, relevance, timeliness, or completeness of this outside information. The contents of this presentation does not necessarily represent the policy of the department. This presentation is not intended to represent the views or policy of, or be an endorsement of any views expressed or materials provided by any federal agency. Edgar 75.620.